you think all carnivore foods are inherently safe, it's time you think again. Some are more dangerous than you think, and they are everywhere. After 6 years on a carnivore diet myself, I still see people eating the same 3 risky foods that I personally have quit for good. But would they still eat them if they knew what was hiding inside? In this video, I'll share the 3 dangerous carnivore foods I cut out, why they're risky, and the healthier alternatives you should try. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that if you find any of the information in today's video helpful, just know that most of it I have learned in the Steak and Butter Gang. It is my off-social media community of the most amazing carnivores. They're all so knowledgeable, so open-minded, and it's literally a treasure trove of carnivore knowledge. I still can't believe how supportive and resourceful everyone is in there. From troubleshooting specific diet challenges to sharing delicious recipes, giving out weekly meal plans, and easy-to-follow PDFs to start a carnivore lifestyle, all members can empower each other and stay on track without the noise and the negativity. You can find it all in one spot in the Steak and Butter Gang. Just go to sbgmeetup.com as shown on the screen, or check out the links down below in the description box for clickable links. Let's talk about the first carnivore food I quit and why you might consider quitting it too. The fact is, not all meat is created equal, and the meat you regularly consume may be compromising your health more than you realize. Far too many people unknowingly consume factory farmed meats like poultry, pork, seafood, without realizing they're often raised in environments where infectious diseases run rampant, preloaded with antibiotics, pesticides, and fillers too. I know what you're thinking. Bella is being overly critical about something that's ultimately harmless. You might still believe you're making a smart budget choice on your daily Walmart runs, or that factory farm meats are safe and nutritious, but there is something about factory farmed meats that's even worse than the chemicals and awful living conditions these animals are subject to. Recent studies have shown that meat from intensively farmed animals can have lower levels of beneficial omega-3s and a less favorable ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. I'll give you a little personal anecdote and something that I've experienced over and over and over every time I reach for farm-raised meats. Whenever I eat low-quality chicken or generic grocery store pork, I always notice inflammation the next day. Whether it be in swollen ankles, swollen eyes, or just puffiness all over my body, I know that it's because of the lower quality nutrients in the meat that I ate in the last meal. And I've seen this consistently being reflected every time I eat especially low quality chicken and low quality pork. Instead of reaching for these cheap but nutritionally subpar meats, try your best to choose pasture-raised chicken, heritage or organic breed pasture-raised pork, and wild-caught seafood. These alternatives, although more costly, do promote better health with fewer harmful substances and a richer nutrient profile. The next carnivore food I personally quit is arguably worse than factory farmed meat because it won't be a matter of years before you start feeling worse. It really is more often a matter of days. There's a lot of skepticism surrounding the carnivore diet. And while I personally believe much of it is unfounded because, come on, they don't even know what it's like to be on carnivore because they've never tried it. You know what the most compelling evidence against carnivore is? Anecdotal evidence. And boy, is there a lot of it now. I receive hundreds of DMs and comments telling me what they're struggling with and what's not working on their carnivore diet. And the most common complaint by far is not diarrhea, meat fatigue, or even dealing with all the carnivore haters. The answer by far is actually low energy and intense sugar cravings. And while much of this is due to adaptation, I see hundreds of carnivores months, if not years, into their journey within the Steak and Butter Gang troubleshoot chronic fatigue and battles with long-time cravings. Do you want to know one of the things our expert coaches tell them? Have a bite of butter. Have a bite of suet. And more importantly, stop eating lean meats. Whether it's skinless turkey breast or low-fat yogurt, they all lack the one thing carnivores absolutely need, and that's animal fat. It is a well-known fact now that animal fats play a critical role in providing essential fatty acids, vitamin A, D, E, and K, and are crucial for hormone regulation, for cell membrane function, heart health, and absolutely brain health. When people focus solely on lean cuts, they're not providing their bodies with the fuel they need to thrive, which 100% of the time leads to persistent low energy and increased cravings for the same junk foods you've kicked out of your life. Instead, focus on incorporating fatty cuts of meat such as ribeye, short ribs, higher fat ground beef, or pasture-raised pork belly because they truly provide the rich source of energy your body craves. My first few months of going carnivore, I had the most intense sugar cravings, and it made sense because I came from a diet of veganism, 6 years straight of eating a vegan diet where I was only eating sugar, fruits, carbs. So when I had to cut that out cold turkey, what I did to kill the cravings every single time was eat pure fat. I would go to my fridge, take a bite out of my stick of butter, and literally feel the voices wither away. There is something so effective and powerful about animal fats when it comes to improving our energy and also shutting down the cravings. So remember, now that you're carnivore, your body has shifted from burning carbohydrates to primarily utilizing fat for fuel. So make sure you're getting enough of it to avoid the dreaded carnivore fatigue and, of course, the craving monster. And for all of you still adapting to carnivore, which is a real thing, another thing to help you guys troubleshoot if you are experiencing both of these symptoms is how are you doing with your electrolytes? Meal prepping fatty meats and using the salt trick, which is simply just salting your meals a lot more generously with a high quality salt, can work great. But if you're in a pinch, you're busy, you're on the go, relying on a high quality electrolyte supplement can be very helpful. This is the brand that I recommend. It is from Element and specifically this teal colored box. It is labeled raw unflavored. So this teal colored box never contains any stevia, sugar, or any other additives. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium measured out in the quantities that our body needs. If you're sensitive to store-bought electrolytes, I have also shown you all how to make it yourself in a recent video on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll make sure to link it down below in the description box. But if you're a carnivore that is always in a pinch for time or you just don't want to go through the trouble of making it, Element is a solid option. You all can get a free sample pack like this, and it does include the raw unflavored. If you go to the URL shown on the screen, drinklmnt.com/SPGAL. The third carnivore food I stopped eating is probably the most controversial of the three, despite its reputation as a superfood. They're slimy, sometimes stinky. The magical meat many of you force yourselves to eat for health benefits is totally unnecessary. You guessed it, it's organ meat, and specifically liver. Now, hold on. I don't want to offend those of you who actually enjoy eating liver, but did you know it's actually possible to enjoy it too much? This is not a joke. Liver is notoriously high in vitamin A, and over-consuming it in excess can lead to hypervitaminosis A, or also known as vitamin A toxicity, which is something I have seen happen in the carnivore community over these last 6 years. And for those of you who do not enjoy liver but eat it anyway, if it doesn't taste good or grosses you out, what is the point of eating it? Some of my heroes, like Kelly Hogan and Dr. Sean Baker, both believe that you should only eat the meat you enjoy because those are the meats that will keep you committed to carnivore for the long haul. This is why I personally have stopped eating liver because enjoyment is key for sustainability in my diet choices. If you're forcing yourself to eat foods that do not resonate with you just because you see other people touting it or eating it every day, you're less likely to stick with the carnivore way of eating over time. And the final reason I personally quit liver is something that I mentioned earlier. All the essential nutrients and micronutrients found in liver are readily available in a variety of other meats as well. If you're fully committed to the carnivore diet and you are sure that you're going to stick to this lifestyle for at least 90 days and maybe beyond, eating quality meats every day will already give you an ample supply of everything that liver provides. Another big food group that I have completely quit, and I've quit this for years now, but I want to re-emphasize in this video what it is and why I've quit it, and that is pasteurized dairy. Now, there is a big difference between pasteurized dairy and raw dairy. If you don't know what pasteurization is, most store-bought generic grocery store dairy products are pasteurized. They go through a process where all of the bacteria and the probiotics are killed through a heating process. All of the good bacteria and probiotics that are so good for our gut health and digestion are also killed, which is why I personally feel such a big difference when I eat raw dairy as opposed to pasteurized dairy. When I drink my raw kefir or when I eat my favorite raw cheeses, I don't feel any inflammation the next day. I also don't have any gas or indigestion. This really does go to show that the quality and the nutrient density of raw dairy is absolutely absolutely real. I stand by this so much, and anytime I get members in the steak and butter gang struggling, they want to troubleshoot, they ask questions about, oh my gosh, I've been carnivore for months or even years. Why am I still not seeing results? Why is my weight still stalled? This is where we typically like to focus on the topic of dairy. Are you eating pasteurized dairy? You don't necessarily have to quit dairy altogether. You don't necessarily have to say goodbye to cheese for the rest of your life. If you simply just make that swap, it really did make a difference in their journeys. Once you get situated in the carnivore community, you will also find that most of us carnivores do not consider butter as a problematic dairy food. And that's because butter is pure fat. For those who are healing either autoimmune or who already start off being very histamine intolerant, I see it coupled a lot with also lactose intolerance. Not everybody is going to be able to go carnivore the same way, obviously. So this is where I challenge you all to experiment. And of course, experiment with one variable at a time. So if you're interested in seeing whether or not butter inflames you, then spend 1 week or even 2 weeks only cutting out the butter so that the symptoms that you evaluate and observe are a result of cutting out the butter and not 2 or 3 other things that you also added in. So a couple tips to troubleshoot for those who cannot tolerate butter. I personally was able to tolerate butter since day one. I think my body just loved it. It digested it really easily. I didn't have inflammation or indigestion. If you find yourself sensitive to butter, then go ahead and eat ghee. Ghee is such a wonderful substitute for butter because it's basically butter. You get the creaminess and the flavor and the palatability of butter, but without that small amount of lactose because it is clarified. If you find you're sensitive to ghee still, then I highly recommend you just lean on the tried and true lowest inflammatory animal fat there is, beef tallow, and raw beef suet. Finally, before I wrap up, I just wanted to shout out something that I have been using religiously every single day. I do this to protect my eyes from blue light, and that is wearing blue light blocking glasses. These are the specific blue light glasses that I love wearing. I also have different styles. You might have seen me wearing it in meetings or live streams. I just love these so much because the moment it starts getting dark outside, wearing these really do protect my eyes from any excess strain, dryness, and tiredness. Wearing these blue blockers also helps my body just unwind and get ready for sleep. Otherwise, my energy is just literally bouncing off the walls all day, every day. So when I want quality sleep, I pop these on and I feel like my eyes can finally wind down and rest. I currently love this style and I've been wearing it more than the MAGNUM design. This is what it looks like on. I just love the feeling of almost this protective hug for my eyeballs. And it definitely does make a difference in my overall relaxation day to day. If you're interested in any of these awesome biohacking tools I featured, I'll make sure to link them all down below with my discount code SBGAL. You can also check out the website shown on the screen. Thank you all so much for watching the video and I'll see you in the next one. SBG out.